There is a trait that nature displays in all of its creations. You can see it in ants moving in trails, cleaning the environment, in the bees which pollinate plants and create honey. You can see it in the moon which orbits our planet again and again, without pause. This trait is also seen in the world's highest achievers like the late Kobe Bryant, the athlete, Jennifer Lopez, the performer, the late Steve Jobs, the engineer and entrepreneur. Each worked in completely different industries and pursued their unique passions and have lived remarkable lives of abundance. This trait is self-discipline. Theodore Roosevelt says the one quality which sets one man apart from another, the key which lifts one to every aspiration while others are caught in the mire of mediocrity, is not talent, formal education, nor intellectual brightness. It is self-discipline. With it, all things are possible. Without it, even the simplest goal can seem like the impossible dream. What I've reserved for this episode is to explain to you what makes self-discipline the recipe to success. Hi, I'm Sarah Hussein, an engineer with a certification in nutrition science from Stanford University, and you are listening to the Track Your Life podcast. Before we move on to self-discipline, let's address a habit which may be coming in the way, and that is instant gratification. Today, we have become the generation that is addicted to the drug of instant gratification. Instant messaging, instant connection, instant weight loss, from groceries to life goals. We want to receive things fast. Buy this item in the next 4 hours and you'll receive it in the mail tomorrow morning. Marketers spur their sales using this tactic. We're not even sure whether we're excited about the mail coming in tomorrow or the item we just paid for. It is so well embedded in the society that we don't even realize its impact. We expect to receive success the same way. But the truth is that no matter who you look up to or who you admire, their success is made up of the raw materials of hard work, dedication, and commitment. Author Steve DeVore and Dr. Carl Pribum studied over 100 highest achievers in the world. They wanted to find the secret formula to success. What they found was that each achiever possessed 7 different traits. And together, these 7 traits can make anyone a self-disciplined person. You can build self-discipline in yourself as well. Emphasis on build because the process starts from you taking the right actions and making the right choices. This is going to be tough, you're probably thinking, but the beauty of self-discipline is that it is a self-perpetuating cycle. The more actions you take, the easier it becomes. You become like a rolling stone going downhill, gaining momentum at every turn. Let's look into these 7 traits. The first trait is to have a clear purpose. The purpose has 2 components, the goal, which is what do you want to do, and the why, which is why do you want to do that. The why is going to add emotional reasoning to your goal. For example, I want to become a successful businessman. That's the goal. Because, now comes the why, I don't want to experience poverty again. This was the purpose of Robert Herjavec, popularly known as one of the sharks in Shark Tank. Robert had experienced the pain of poverty, and that is what was his driving force, to succeed. It was his why behind his goal. The why is what is going to keep you going when things get tough, when you feel discouraged, because that is the time when your logical reasoning may just not add up. Do you know that the average millionaire goes bankrupt 3.5 times before becoming successful? Imagine being in their shoes and going bankrupt the 3rd time and thinking about your next steps. Bankrupt 3 times? That's a lot. Mentally, emotionally, financially. At that time, if you depend on your logical reasoning, you're probably going to give up on your dream of becoming a millionaire. But if you revisit your why did you even start all of this in the first place? That is going to reignite that fire in you, and you would want to get up and try again. This conviction pays off, because as the fact is stated, it was the average millionaire who went bankrupt 3.5 times. Trait number 2, have a mentor. the quality of the mentor you choose is going to have a direct impact on the level of success you achieve in life. Pretty powerful. The research on mentorship is also very telling. People with mentors achieve more, they have more work-life balance, they advance in their careers faster. But how do I choose a mentor, you may ask? Well, Bob Proctor says, a mentor is someone who sees more potential in you than you see in yourself and helps you get it out of you. So choose someone who sees more potential in you than you see in yourself, someone who has a positive outlook on challenges and setbacks, and someone who tells you to never give up. Your mentor can be anyone. It can be your friend, your family, your colleague, somebody you know of. Someone who has walked the path that you want to walk. It's possible that the people you take as your mentors don't have a personal relationship with you. Like for me, for instance, a lot of the people I learn from, they don't even know that I exist, and that's okay. One of the ways you can get personal with them is to watch their interviews and listen to their audiobooks. Even learning from their attitudes and adapting their mindset is going to take you really far. Trait number 3, visualization. I can actually create a whole episode on visualization because that is how fascinating and intriguing it is to me. But to put it concisely, visualization is the practice of imagining yourself have already achieved the goal. When you imagine yourself as a winner, you exude the confidence of a winner and embody the personality of a winner. And that itself is going to accelerate the whole process of goal attainment. But visualization is deeper than that as well. It harnesses the power of the subconscious mind, which is to take imagination as literally as it would take a real event. For example, if you imagine biting into a lemon, your bodily response to that thought is going to be quite similar to the response of the actual event. You're probably going to start salivating, identical to how you would when you're actually biting into a lemon. Athletes use visualization along with their training and have showed to have better performances when compared to those who were only training. One of the examples that comes to my mind is of Bianca Andreescu, a Canadian tennis player. She visualized competing in the US Open match in 2019 and winning. And she won. She competed against a 38-year-old world champion, Serena Williams, who already had several wins under her belt. It was an epic match. When Bianca was asked how she was able to win that match, she attributed her success to visualization. She said she used this practice thoroughly and was inspired by a book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind by Vishen Lakhiani. I would highly recommend that you go ahead and check it out. If you want to start visualization, you're probably going to notice that you don't right away have a perfect visualization. You don't right away just become a pro. It takes a little bit of practice, but I can promise you that every little bit of effort in just perfecting your visualization is completely worth it. Trait number 4, self-assurance. Self-assurance is the backbone of self-discipline. It ties into every other component. When you set out to achieve your goal and you have the support of your friends and family, you are lucky. If you don't have the support, you are luckier. An achiever should always derive his motivation from the inside, independent of anyone else. When you look externally for motivation, you give your power away. So appreciate the support coming your way, but don't rely on it. Use your own willpower as your driving force. Because the external motivation can be here one day, cannot be here the second day. You can't rely on that. When you rely on your own willpower, you make it about your identity. When you make it about your identity, all of your actions are going to be in alignment with that identity. You can have complete self-assurance by practicing positive affirmations. Affirmations like, I'm a strong-willed individual and I will make my dreams come true. With affirmations, repetition is key. You might want to say 10 times a day, and if that is what it takes for you to believe in it, then go for it. Number 5, planning. You save 10 minutes in execution for every 1 minute is spent in planning. Let me say that again for you. You save 10 minutes in execution for every 1 minute is spent in planning. When you pre-decide your steps, you save yourself from the emotional and mental fatigue that comes from decision making. So when the day comes, all you have to do is execute all the tasks that you have set out for yourself in the time allotted. It saves you from a lot of stress, and it also increases your efficiency. But I feel planning is something we leave for the end because we think it takes a lot of time. But here's a good news for you. Research shows that you get 1,000 times return on the time you spend on planning. So plan your day, plan your month, plan your year, and plan precisely. Number 6, learning. Achievers are great learners. You can look all around you. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, you name it. Everyone is always learning consistently. Many of them call themselves lifelong learners. They learn all the skills and acquire all the knowledge that they need to achieve their goals. It might be intimidating in the beginning when you see that you have so much to do, but as the most intelligent species on the planet, you may be underestimating yourself. The human brain is complex, but it works like a muscle. The more you use it, the more you can use it. So go ahead and learn the skills, acquire the knowledge, because the more you'll do it, the easier it will become. Number 7, perseverance. Steve Jobs said in an interview that he was convinced that more than half of what distinguishes a successful person from an unsuccessful person is perseverance, the ability to get up and try again. Because when you set out on your journey to achieve your goals, you might fail, and you might fail bad. But the failure is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to embody you with the skills that you need to succeed. Oftentimes, we are so scared of failure that we don't even try. As the saying goes, fear kills more dreams than failure will ever do. If you're scared of failure, my next example might just change your perspective on it forever. Wanna listen? Here it goes. When an eagle is born, it rests in a nest on a 125-meter tall tree. Its parents pay frequent visits, feeding the bird. You might think that this top predator has it easy, but it has to develop the skills to maintain its position at the top of the food chain. So as nature takes its course, the little eagle starts increasing in size and requires more nourishment. The parents realize that the food they're bringing is not sufficient for the growing eagle, and they decide to give it some tough love, and decides that it's time that the young eagle fends for itself. The frequent food parcels become occasional, and the young eagle becomes desperate. When it notices that the parents are not coming very often, it decides to go hunt for itself. But sitting at 125 meters of height is not the ideal scenario for flying. But the eagle is determined, and it's driven by hunger. So it tries to fly to the nearby branch. It fails. It tries to fly further along in its own branch. It fails. It tries to fly out of its nest. It fails. It keeps failing, and it keeps flapping its wings. It's unaware, but the continuous flapping of the wings is strengthening its wing muscles and widening the wingspan. This is what's going to keep it stable at altitudes as high as 4,800 meters, where eagles usually glide. It's also going to make it strong enough to carry itself and the weight of its prey. After several failures and a few successes, the eagle is finally ready to go for its perfect flight. Imagine if the eagle was able to have a perfect flight right after birth. It would never have the opportunity to strengthen its wing muscles and widen its wingspan. And with altitudes that high, just one turn of wind and the eagle would have a fatal dive. The failures that come our way serve us the same way. They are meant to embody you with the skills that you need to achieve your goals. So don't fear and embrace those failures rather than avoiding them. Follow your instincts, trust your journey. Nature knows exactly what it has created you to do. It is going to guide you, it will give you challenges to make you grow, and it will give you opportunities to harness the skills that you have. Because in the end of the day, you will either experience pain of growth or pain of not trying at all. I hope you choose to experience the pain of growth. I hope this episode is the push that you needed to go after your dreams. If you think someone else might find it useful, please go ahead and share. And don't forget to rate and review, as that is going to support the podcast. And this brings us to the end of the second episode. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed creating it. This is Sarah Hussein signing off, and I will see you next week with another informative episode. Till then, look after yourself.